Hey everybody, it's me, John Anthony Chihak Soltero. I am the anti-hero, and I'm here today, right now, to give you a report so far on Tucson Comic-Con 2019. I have to say day one, and let me get through all of this, okay? But day one for me was a little disappointing, but I didn't let it get to me too badly. Day one is preview night. I always need to realize that it starts at 3 o'clock. A lot of people are still at school, still at work. It's high school football season. It wasn't a huge turnout on Friday, at least not at my table. We did sell one copy of the collected Bubba Patrol, which was awesome. Made a real big difference to me, mental health-wise, and just cheered me up. So thank you, Doc. I appreciate that. Day two, monster comeback. It was awesome. Got to see one of my very, very good friends that I do not get to see out of her work all that often. To my friend James, Lady James at Bookman's East. Thank you so much for swinging by my table and just talking and picking up all the Bubba Patrol love. It meant a lot to me because I know how much Binks meant to you, and I know how much Sawyer means to you as well, and your dogs. So it's a big thing when the Bubba Patrol can help connect with people in that way. Did 2 commissions today. Did a really cool Vampirella and Harley Quinn mashup piece for a gentleman, and then probably one of the coolest commissions I've ever been asked to draw. Cheech and Chong. A young woman came up. She was asking for something specific. I'm not sure if the gentleman with her was her father or stepdad or whatnot, but she didn't really want to say it in front of him, and he was like, "You're good. Say what you ask him what you want to draw." And she gave me a really detailed set piece, and I was just like, that'd take me a really long time to draw. It'd be, and I told her the price, and she said, wow, that's more than I have. And I was just like, what do you have? And she told me, and I said, this is what I'll do for that. Because I kind of wanted to draw the piece anyways. I didn't want to lose the sale, but what she wanted was so interesting, and I've never drawn it before, so I did a Cheech and Chong piece. If you check out my Instagram, anti.hero.brand, you'll see the 2 commissions, the Harley Quinn commission and the Cheech and Chong commission. Sold 2 sketch covers as well. Team Fuerte, you guys are awesome. It was a double treat, I hope, for you as for me. Came and picked up numerous copies of the collected edition. Got to see Manny, Manuelito, and Denise, and got to see Manuelito open up the book. It took a lot of prodding because he wouldn't keep doing it. But I kept trying to get him to the letters page so he would open it up and see his fan art of Cypress in the letters page printed. And before they showed up, a friend of Team Fuerte came by and said, so I heard that you'll publish artwork. And he was a younger kid, and it was kind of hard to understand at first what he was asking because he kind of asked it in a roundabout way. Do you know Ronnie at Harley's? Do you know El Toro Fuerte and Manuelito? And they told me you would publish artwork. And I thought he wanted me to publish a comic for him. And I was like, no, that's right. And I showed him the book, and I was just like, yeah, if you send us artwork of your dog or one of the Bubbas, we'll put it in a future issue. So we look forward to hearing from anybody who has a letter about why they love the Bubba Patrol, why they love their own Bubbas. They're all Bubbas to us. They're not just dogs or cats or pets. They're family. And that's why they're important to us. And that's what makes all the difference. So huge monster comeback. And I'm very, not just satisfied. I'm very pleased with how Saturday turned out. And we still got one more day. But I wanted to show you guys some of the stuff that I picked up. So I finally got my box set of the 90s animated Spider-Man. This has been available at the convention for years past. I picked up the box set of the X-Men animated, and Never went back to get that, and I regretted it ever since, and I finally made it happen this year. Bookman's had a huge monster display, speaking of my friend Lady James and Piper and all the staff whom I don't know by name yet. Thank you all for what you do there. They had tons of short boxes. We got some really cool stuff, including DMZ 2 and 3. I picked these up as they came out and then picked up the trades, and then after a while stopped reading them, sold them for pennies on the dollar kind of thing. These books are coming back now because they're talking about making a TV show about it. But it's just such a really good objective political look at what governments and war does to people. And it just a really, really awesome book. Superman 75. This was the one that came polybagged, and it came with stamps. It came with a trading card. It came with the copy of the Daily Planet article that says Superman died saving the city. It also comes with a huge freaking poster of all the DC characters carrying Superman's casket with the checklist of the Funeral for a Friend books. So that's a super, super big deal. I'm just going to go through these really, really quick. I got like Man-Thing. I got some Bronze Age comics from DC, which are always awesome. Like weird war tales. Like, I mean, you can't go wrong with like Frankenstein destroying Nazis and just some like Bronze Age goodness. Like, I'm super stoked about a lot of the stuff that I found. I found Machine Man #2. That's a Jack Kirby book, y'all. And this was kind of bittersweet for me because I know this individual. I love her artwork. She's a fabulous human being. But I found a copy of Wilder in the Bookman's back issues. And I've also found my own books back there. But now I have another copy of Wilder #1. And this one I can read, and I don't have to, like, worry about it and everything. But this is Vic Holland's book. You need to check it out. Even if you are only into the artwork is beautiful. But she's a great writer as well and a phenomenal creator. And just an outstanding artist and human being. Like, she'll share techniques and ideas and stuff like that with you. And that's not a lot of thing that artists will do. Like, if somebody finds something that works for them, they hide it a lot of times. And I have an issue with that. So I try to be as open as possible with the new printing that I've got. If somebody's interested in it, I tell them all about it. You got Super Friends. You got a couple of issues of Captain America. You got Tarzan #1, which I thought was kind of cool. This is a really early Dial H for Hero from House of Mystery. I mean, it's 12 cents. That's a Silver Age book right there. You got Judge Dredd, Euthonauts. Now on to some of the things that I got and I went to get specifically from certain creators and people I was really, really happy to meet. Mark Waid is at the convention, and if you're going to Tucson Comic-Con and you ask him to personalize a book, he doesn't charge you for the autograph. It's $5 other than that. But I found this at Bookman's last year or earlier this year, and it's the hardcover. It's beautiful, and inside he personalized it to me because I love to have stuff personalized to me. You can see that. Because I want the artists and the creators to know that I'm not going to sell it. I'm not trying to flip things or anything like that. And then I was a little gun shy asking him to sign this. He wrote the all-new Archie series when Fiona Staples did the artwork. And I did a sketch cover of Jessica Rabbit as Cheryl Blossom. And I told him, I was just like, it's a little risque, and I understand if you don't want to sign it. And he was just like, well, let's see it. And I have to say thank you, Mark Waid, for signing this. This was up on eBay, believe it or not. And I immediately pulled it off of eBay because, I mean, it's signed to me. It's my artwork. And this is going up on the wall. So from one of my new friends from the AZ comic book creators, Greg, He's doing some cool comics and magazines, but he also had some really, really sweet vinyl stickers. So I picked those up. Somebody that I've known for over a decade now. We met while doing a sketch group in the early aughts or the late aughts. JoJo Seams. She saved me a copy of The Makeshift Man #5. I've read 1 through 4 and the Christmas special. If you have not read this book and you're going to Tucson Comic-Con, you need to pick it up. Artistically, like visually, it's beautiful. It's so much fun. The story is amazing. I'm going to read this, and then I'm going to do a review of the entire series because she's such a creative individual, and I've known her for over a decade, and I'm super appreciative that she held on to a copy of this for me. And I don't know if she still has this or not, but she sold me on this. And this is called The Revenge of the Alternative of the Age of Ultron. And this is her take on the Avengers Age of Ultron story. You remember the scene when Cap and Iron Man are chopping wood? This entire story she told from the perspective of them doing, she told me lumberjack stuff. And I was like, what do you mean? And it's just hilarious because they're finding different ways to like cut down trees and chop logs and all this other stuff. Her artwork with this concept is so beautifully done. I almost fell over in the aisle laughing. I haven't even read this yet, and I'm super psyched to see it. This next piece is a friend of mine. He also did an exclusive for Tucson Comic-Con. His name is Derek Dahlberg. He is at table AA18, right next to mine. He's got this sweet die-cut, like old-school rubber hose arm saguaro cactus. You get a cactus run up here. Like, the detail in this is phenomenal. Like, okay, this is my hand, right? This is the size of the sticker. Like, it fits over my face almost. It's huge. AA18. This is a $4 sticker. He's got other phenomenal stickers. He's got some great original art too. Very reasonable prices. Go talk to him. Go talk to his wife, Cindy. They're both really sweet people. I feel very fortunate to have met them, and that's in big part thanks to my friend Jesse Sutton and Zach Michaels and John Reese, who were at Tucson Comic-Con together a couple years back. They met Derek there. Derek joined their art group. And then I got to meet Derek and them that way as well. This is the last thing, one of the first things I bought at the show. There is a young man at the show next to me in the aisle, like on the next aisle over on the end cap. AA 1 and 14, I think, because they do the tables and it goes around a weird way. Or 16, I believe, 16. Because then I become 17 and then it goes 18, 19. Okay. But he's right next to me. His name is Thor. He's in his early 20s. And he is a comic book superhero. He is the exemplification of what a hero needs to be. He was not born a hero. He chose to be a hero. For his dad, for his grandparents. He has changed a lot of lives, has left a huge impression on me, and I just met him this weekend. When I saw that he was being promoted at the event, I knew I had to meet him, let alone I didn't know I was going to be sitting right next to him. Go meet him, go get a photo with him, get a copy of Rad God. Talk to his dad about this book. When he told me he was in a comic book, I had to buy it. When I found out more about the backstory of this book, I had to own it. And I'm really glad that I finished Agnew's costume for the convention and got to take a picture with Thor, because I remade a costume that Agnew had years ago, and it's a Thor costume. And we made him his own little Mjolnir. We call it Doombringer. But it was phenomenal meeting him. The story behind this book is really compelling. I'm going to break it down for you really, really quickly. I have not read this book yet, and I have no doubts that I'm probably going to tear up reading it. The man who wrote this book, Chad Kavanaugh, he was a United States Marine. He was one of the men who guarded the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. There's always 2 Marines guarding the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier at any time, day or night. Radgod, in this book, is a fellow Marine who also guarded the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. He's big dude, 6'6", blonde hair, muscles, everything, looked like Thor. Chad switched shifts with the man who became Radgod one night, and it was an overnight guard. The man he switched shifts with, Radgod, was murdered while doing his job, while guarding the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, shot in the back of the head. Chad couldn't deal with it, as most people wouldn't be able to, because that was supposed to be his shift, so he felt a huge sense of responsibility for it. That was supposed to be him. And he was discharged from the Marines. He was working on a way to figure out how to deal with this. He ended up writing a 4-issue series called Radgod with his fellow Marine as Radgod. Now, Thor's dad was telling me Thor became enamored with the character Thor, has a costume, has the hammer. When they go to conventions, Thor will kind of just get a sense. He'll find an artist that he likes, and he'll have them do a sketch cover of him as Thor. And for some reason, he was drawn to Chad Kavanaugh. Didn't know him, had never met him before, was drawn to him, started talking to him. They both shared a love of Thor, and that mutual respect for that character. And so Chad did a picture of Thor as Thor, and then put him in his comic book. I don't know if you can see it. See him down here. He is half Thor in this book. I am super excited to read this. I was super great to meet Thor. I got a picture of him and me and Agnew up on my Instagram. Seriously, if you're in Tucson and you go to Tucson Comic-Con tomorrow, you need to meet this young man. He's an inspiration. He exemplifies what a hero needs to be. He does a lot of positive work, and he wants to be a hero. That's one of the most important things. Like, he's positive and he's happy, and he brings a smile to people's faces. And when I think about him, and I think about the happiness that the Bubba Patrol brings to people and brings to me in creating it, that's what all this is all about. We're supposed to have fun. It's not supposed to be bitter times. Sure, there are hard times going on in the world, but like, we make it what it is, and we choose to be heroes. Remember that. That's the Bubba Patrol oath. This path we take is just the start. With strength and smarts and lots of heart, we stand for those against evil and hate. We choose to be heroes. There is no fate. Thank you for tuning in to this edition of Tucson Comic-Con 2019 recap. I will no doubt be coming at you with the full weekend with day 3 and everything. But seriously, check out Always Be Thor. He's on Instagram as Always Be Thor, all one word. Check out my friend Derek Dahlberg. He's on Instagram. Check out my friend JoJo Seams. She is also on Instagram. Amazing creators, amazing human beings. And this is what comics and being heroes and creators is all about. Peace.